Have you ever wondered why so many strokes and heart attacks happen at 2 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, right when we're in our deepest sleep? The truth is, sleep is supposed to be a time for the body to recover. However, for those of us over the age of 50, it can turn into a biological minefield if you fall into the 8 mistakes we're about to discuss. Today, I'm going to share with you not only the habits that put you at risk but also a golden routine to protect your heart even while you're dreaming. Make sure to stay with me until the end, because that final 3-minute rule could literally save your life tonight. Hello, everyone. Now, here in America, we often treat dinner as the main event of the day. It's that special time when the family gathers after a long day of work. But, after 30 years in medicine, I've noticed a very common, and dangerous, mistake. We eat too late, and we eat way too much. Think about it. When you sit down for a heavy steak or a rich, fatty meal after 8 p.m., your body enters a state of internal overtime. Instead of resting and repairing itself, your heart is forced to work a double shift. It has to pump a massive amount of blood down to your digestive system just to process that food. Imagine this, while the rest of the neighborhood is quiet and asleep, your heart factory is running at full capacity. This prevents your blood pressure from dropping naturally, which is what it's supposed to do during sleep. A heart that's exhausted from digesting a heavy meal is much more vulnerable to unexpected chest pain or even a cardiac event in the middle of the night. So, please, take care of yourself. Try to eat dinner a bit earlier. Choose lighter options, maybe some grilled fish, fresh vegetables, or a simple bowl of soup. Give your stomach a break, and give your heart the peace it needs to drift into a restful sleep right along with you. Many of my patients come to me complaining that they just can't stay asleep. And when I look closer, I often see that their stress levels are through the roof. You see, there is an invisible, powerful connection between your brain and your heart. Before you go to bed, if you're watching the stressful nightly news, a tense thriller, or worrying about bills and taxes, your body automatically releases cortisol, the fight or flight hormone. This hormone causes your blood vessels to constrict and your heart rate to jump. I always tell my patients to practice a small ritual I call emotional detox. About 30 minutes before you turn off the lights, put your phone away. Pick up a small notebook instead, and write down 3 things you're grateful for today. It doesn't have to be anything big. It could be a phone call from your grandson, or a flower blooming in your garden. Focusing on gratitude activates your parasympathetic nervous system. It calms your mind and lowers your blood pressure, almost like magic. When your mind is at peace, your heart beats steadily, creating a beautiful, rhythmic lullaby for your entire body. So, please, don't carry today's worries into tonight's sleep. Now, there's a small detail that most people overlook, and that's the swelling in our legs at the end of the day. As we get older, our veins aren't quite as elastic as they used to be. This causes fluid to pool around our ankles and feet, especially after a long day of walking or just sitting in your favorite chair. Think about what happens next. When you lie down to go to sleep, gravity takes over. All that fluid that was sitting in your legs starts to flow back up towards your upper body, putting a sudden, heavy pressure on your heart and your lungs. This is a primary reason why so many people feel short of breath or find themselves waking up in the middle of the night just to use the bathroom. Your heart is essentially trying to process an overflow of fluid while you're trying to rest. I have a simple tip that has helped thousands of my patients, and it is incredibly effective. I want you to take about 20 to 30 minutes before you go to bed to prop your legs up. You don't need anything fancy. Just a couple of soft pillows to keep your feet about 6 to 8 inches higher than your heart. This simple position allows that fluid to circulate back into your system slowly and naturally. It gives your kidneys a chance to process it before you actually fall into a deep sleep. I like to call it unloading the cargo before your heart begins its long journey through the night. When you finally tuck yourself in, you'll find your chest feels much lighter, your breath becomes deeper, and your heart no longer has to struggle against that extra fluid. Now, let's talk about something many of you might be avoiding. In my 30 years of practice here in the States, I've met so many patients who are actually afraid to drink water in the evening. And I completely understand why. Nobody likes having to get out of a warm bed to use the bathroom several times a night. It's inconvenient, and it disrupts your rest. However, leaving your body dehydrated for 8 long hours during the night is a silent danger we cannot ignore. You see, while you sleep, you are still losing water through your breath and through your skin. If you don't have enough fluids, your blood starts to become thick and sticky, almost like molasses or heavy syrup. In that thick, slow-moving state, it becomes much easier for blood clots to form. This is exactly what we want to avoid, as it's a major trigger for strokes or coronary blockages in those early morning hours. The secret isn't about drinking a huge amount of water right before you tuck yourself in. It's about drinking the right amount at the right time. I recommend having 1 small glass of warm water, about 5 or 6 ounces, roughly an hour before you go to bed. Think of this as a thinning agent for your blood. It helps keep your circulation moving smoothly and effortlessly while you dream. If you do happen to wake up in the middle of the night, just take a tiny sip to keep your throat moist and your internal flow steady. Consider water as the essential lubricant that keeps the engine of your body running quietly and safely. When your body is properly hydrated, you are giving your heart the best possible defense against the unexpected. Now, let's talk about the air around you while you sleep. You might not think much about the thermostat, but as a cardiologist, I can tell you that your bedroom temperature acts like a control valve for your blood pressure all night long. Here in the United States, especially in our colder states like New York or Illinois, I consistently see an increase in emergency cardiac cases during the winter months. And the reason is simple. When your room is too cold, your body naturally tries to conserve heat by constricting your blood vessels. This narrowing of the pipes causes your blood pressure to spike, sometimes to dangerous levels while you're fast asleep. On the other hand, if your room is too hot, your heart has to work much harder. It beats faster and makes you sweat just to cool your body down, which leads to dehydration and exhaustion by morning. So, what is the golden temperature for your heart? Based on extensive research at places like Harvard and my own 30 years of clinical experience, the sweet spot is between 65 and 72 degrees Fahrenheit. That's roughly 18 to 22 degrees Celsius. In this specific range, your body can drift into a deep, restorative sleep without your heart having to fight the environment. Think of a stable room temperature as a protective hug for your cardiovascular system. It keeps your blood vessels relaxed and your heart rate steady. If it's chilly out, use a warm comforter, but keep the air in the room fresh and temperate. A stable environment means a stable heart, and that is exactly what we want for a long, healthy life. Many of us grew up thinking that snoring was just a normal part of getting older, maybe even a sign of a good, deep sleep. But the truth I've seen in my clinic over the years is quite different. Frequent, loud snoring is often a major red flag for something we call sleep apnea. Think of it this way. Every time your breathing pauses or your airway narrows during sleep, your blood oxygen levels drop to an alarming low. When that happens, your brain sends out an emergency signal. It's like a silent panic button being pressed inside your body. Your heart rate jumps and your blood pressure spikes instantly just to keep things moving. When this cycle repeats dozens of times every single night, it wears down your heart's strength. It's exhausting for your cardiovascular system. If you find yourself snoring loudly, or if you wake up with a headache or feeling like you haven't slept at all, please don't ignore it. One simple change you can try tonight is adjusting your sleeping position. Try sleeping on your side instead of your back. This helps keep your airway open naturally by preventing your tongue from blocking the throat. However, if the snoring persists, I strongly encourage you to speak with a specialist. Treating sleep apnea isn't just about getting a quieter night's rest for your spouse, it's one of the most direct ways you can lower your risk of a stroke. Remember, your breath is your life force. Keeping that breath clear and constant is how you keep the fire of life burning bright and steady. In the medicine cabinets of almost every patient over 50 here in the US, you'll find medications for blood pressure or cholesterol. But how and when you take them is a story in itself. You see, our blood pressure isn't a fixed number, it fluctuates throughout the day and night according to our biological rhythm. Some people suffer from what we call masked nocturnal hypertension. That's a fancy way of saying your blood pressure spikes while you're asleep. It's incredibly dangerous because you have no idea it's happening while you're dreaming. Taking your medication exactly when I or your local doctor prescribes it isn't just a routine, it's a life-saving mission. If your doctor tells you to take your pill in the evening, it's specifically to protect you from those dangerous blood pressure peaks that happen in the early morning hours. Please, never skip a dose just because you feel fine that day. High blood pressure is often called the silent killer for a reason. I always advise my patients to set an alarm on their phones or to keep their medication right next to their toothbrush. Making it a non-negotiable part of your nightly routine is like having a silent guardian standing watch over you while you sleep. That discipline is your strongest shield, giving you the peace of mind that your body is being protected every single minute of the night. Finally, I want to share with you a simple technique that can save your life in an instant. I call it the 3-minute rule. You see, when you're lying down asleep, your blood settles mainly in your abdomen and back. If you suddenly bolt out of bed to use the bathroom, your blood can't reach your brain fast enough. This leads to what we call orthostatic hypotension, a sudden drop in blood pressure that causes dizziness, fainting, or even worse. It puts immense strain on your heart to compensate for the lack of oxygen. I want you to memorize this 3-step process for every time you wake up during the night. First, the first minute, when you open your eyes. Just stay lying down. Gently move your hands and feet to wake up your circulation and let your heart know you're awake. Second, the second minute, sit up slowly and let your legs dangle off the edge of the bed. Take a few deep breaths. This gives your heart a chance to adjust to an upright position and get the blood flowing against gravity. Third, the third minute, stand up gradually, but don't walk away yet. Hold on to the bedpost or a nearby table to make sure you're completely steady before you take your first step. These 3 minutes are not a waste of time. They are a precious window that allows your body to transition safely. Following this rule means you aren't shocking your system, you're moving in harmony with it. My friends, after 30 years of witnessing the ups and downs of health, I've learned that small, consistent changes lead to the most extraordinary results. I want you to have peaceful nights and even better mornings. Take care of your heart tonight, and it will take care of you for years to come. I'm always here for you. Sleep well, and I'll see you in the next video. Before you head off to sleep tonight, I want to ask you to do just 3 small things. First, if you found this information helpful, please hit that like button. It tells the system that this message is important, and it helps me reach other seniors who might be at risk without even knowing it. Second, I'd love to hear from you. Leave a comment below and just write, I'm changing my routine tonight. Your commitment doesn't just help you, it inspires this entire community to take their health seriously. And finally, please share this video with someone you love, maybe a partner, a sibling, or a dear friend. You never know whose life you might be protecting with a simple click. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you won't miss our weekly health talks. Your heart has worked hard for you for decades. Now, it's your turn to look after it while it rests. I'm Dr. Thora, and it has been an honor to spend this time with you. Sleep peacefully, stay healthy, and I'll see you in our next video. Good night, everyone.